Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you who do not know, I am Allie, and today's video is going to be me talking to you guys about how I came to my savings goals conclusion. I thought it would be a really interesting video for me to do. I figured that you guys would like to know kind of that scenario. So I'm going to talk to you guys about my income right now. What I'm making as a teacher's aide right now. It is all subject to change due to my situation next year, but we're going to just pause on that. We're going to talk about right now. So right now I'll make about $16,000 a year. So that is not including the debt that I am paying off. That's not including anything else like that. So I'm going to basically going to walk you guys through my savings trackers and how I came up with these goals. So we're going to start with my starter emergency fund goal. That's not the one I want. So I have a big encompassing goal of what I feel is secure for my savings fund goal. It has actually changed in the last 6 months with inflation, what I feel I need to have to feel safe. So that goal amount is no longer $10,000. My goal is $30,000. But we're going to separate that for a minute, and we're going to talk about my starter emergency fund goal. So after I figured out the big number that I wanted, I sat down and I looked at my income for the year. And what I did was I took so this is anywhere between 10 and 30% of my income. This made me feel safe as a single mom. I started with the idea of $3,000, but I've changed it again with inflation. So I went with $5,000 is my goal. So again, it's anywhere between 10 and 30% of my income. I felt that that was the best number for me. I'm already at 100, which is very small, my goal, but that is a small progress in comparison to nothing at all. I had nothing when I started this. So I'm at I want 5,000. So we're at 100. When my check clears, because I switched banks, I will be adding another 100 to that. So basically my plan is I have 471 left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take half of my Capital One payment of my full card, and I'm going to take that chunk of money and move it over there. And then I'm going to take the last 200 of it, since I can't do a cash stuffing envelope because it hasn't cleared. I'm going to take the last 200 of that, and I'm going to transfer my Budget Mom Savings Challenge to my emergency fund. No, I'm sorry, I did that wrong. Take my Budget Mom Savings Challenge and move that to my new car fund, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then I'm going to take the other 100 and I'm going to put it in my emergency savings. So that will bring this to 200. It's not highlighted to 200 yet because I want to wait for that to clear. And then I'm going to color it to 200. And what I like about the debt-free charts is it did the math for me. So this is $5,000 is my starter emergency fund goal. So my new car fund. How did I get to my new car fund goal? So I looked at the two SUVs that I'm looking at replacing my Mitsubishi with when it's time. And they're anywhere between, I can't remember what they were. So what I did was I took 20% of that, because I decided that 20% is a number I'm comfortable putting down. So I took 20% of that, which got me to another 5,000, ironically. So I'm going to take the 112, not the 112, my Budget Mom Savings Challenge, which is 112. I can't talk too much about them. And I already highlighted them because that is what I'm doing with that money. As I'm taking it and I'm putting it in my car savings account, which is at my credit union. The different thing that I did differently with this is I used to have my emergency fund with my new car fund. But because I have a hard time sometimes leaving savings there, especially when car payments came up, I moved my emergency fund to Ally, an online savings account that I cannot easily access. And it has been a game changer for me. And that's why there's $100 there. So that is how I got to that. Now we have two last savings to talk about. So one of my goals for the next couple of years is a debt-free vacation. So I am looking at Great Wolf Lodge. I was originally going to do Splash Lagoon, but I've heard that Great Wolf Lodge is better. So I want to do Great Wolf Lodge with him, which is about $4,000 a month, $4,000 for like a long weekend. And I divided this by the 100 and I got 400. So right now nothing's saved, but this is how I'm getting. So that is how I got to my 3 goals, is by looking at the numbers. So the 5,000, I included inflation. Obviously that's not going to be like fully enough, but it's enough for an emergency situation. And then my new car fund, I looked at what I wanted in my next car. The reason why I did that with this car is because I was rushed with my last 2 car purchases. Even with getting loan, I was still rushed. So we'll talk about it real quick. So with the Toyota RAV4 that I got, I loved my Chevy Tracker. My Chevy Tracker was like my go-to, but it bit the dust and I had no choice but to get a new car. My RAV4 was a quick purchase. Like, I didn't even get a chance to, like, look at anything really else. Like, it was just, like, quick and easy. And then I ran my Toyota RAV4 into the ground, and I was rushed to purchase a new one because we were in the middle of the school year, and I needed a new car. So that is how I ended up with my Mitsubishi. And I don't want to be in that position again where I'm rushed to get a new car. Number one, I'm not going to let my car get to the point where like it needs so I'm torn. Like, I don't mind beating it into the ground, but I also don't want to be rushed again. So when my car starts to get on my last leg this time, I want to start looking instead of just jumping straight to it. So what I did was, I know kind of what car I want. I have it between 2 when that time comes. So that's how I got the numbers. That's what I did. So now moving on to the only investment account that I have. So as a single mom, one of the biggest things for me is setting my son up for success. That's kind of why my dad's the number 1 priority, getting life insurance, which I'm almost halfway through the process. I just have one more thing to do, has been important to me. And education is important to me. I wish I would have tried a little bit harder in high school, my associate's degree. Now I'm finishing my bachelor's in my 30s. Well, I'm 30, and I feel like I'm starting too late a little bit in regards to my profession. Even though I am working kind of in my profession. So one of the my big things has always been like making sure that like my son is taken care of in regards of all aspects. So again, something that was really, really big for me was setting up a college fund. So I ended up going with a 529 account, along with my Roth IRA being there. Although I have 401k, I'm going to start using a Roth IRA as well to maximize my retirement, because I don't want my son to have to worry about anything when it comes to me. So that's something that's like really, really big in my mind. So I have paused, I'm doing small increments of contributions at this point. Like, it's $5 here, $10 there, $20 there, you know, all the things. And I really, really made a conscious effort to sit down and think about in regards to like how much schooling I want to pay. So what I'm comfortable with doing is, and I also want to keep in mind that I am not pushing my son to college. I feel like the moment I talk about a college account, I get hit with, you know, there's other things he can do, there's trade schools, there's yada yada. I fully understand that, and I'm not saying that that's not a possibility, and I'm not saying that he can't go that route if he wants to, but I also don't want him to have to worry about, I want him to be able to make the decision knowing that everything's there. And I really, really want him to not go into his adult years with debt. I I've made a lot of mistakes with money, and I'm really trying to set a better example. I got into a lot of debt in my 20s, and I'm still kind of digging myself out. And that's not including my student loan, which just started. So I'm really making a conscious effort to not let him go through this. And I know some people are going to come at me for paying my son's tuition, but I really feel it's important that I set him up for some sort of success. So what I did was I kind of Googled the colleges around here, and I've narrowed down approximately what I need to do an associate's or a bachelor's degree. Maybe even a little bit more because I started this so young. You never know what will happen. But right now, like, I am comfortable paying for an associate's and a bachelor's, whatever his little heart desires. It's really important to me that I still foster education, not just as a teacher, but as a mom. I really wish that somebody had done that for me sooner, because I've always been a student that struggled. I've always been a student that, like, got the C's and was, like, barely passing, and it wasn't for a lack of trying. People thought it was for a lack of trying, but it wasn't a lack of trying, and it wasn't that I was, like, some horrible student. I just didn't really have anyone. It just got to a point where what I wanted to do was being shut down by so many people, especially in high school at the time, and especially towards the end. It just felt like I'm gonna do something different because I don't want to deal with all of this anymore. And that was kind of like the realm it went through. And then I really struggled in my NTRIP years because, like, part of me wanted to be there, part of me didn't want to be there. I just didn't see the point in an associate's degree at the time because I had wanted to do what I wanted to do for so long, and then I was thrown into an associate's degree that, like, it just felt like the wrong place, and it felt like everyone around me was just against it. And I took a break, and I ended up going back to my original plan. It's ironic, you know, how you end up in certain situations where you find yourself back in the original plan that you had planned. And it's kind of funny how, like, it's just funny how now everyone's on board with my original plan. It's just funny. But like I was saying, so I got approximately what I need, and then I set a goal for this year. This year's goal is a little bit lower than I would like, but that's because I'm paying off debt. So my goal for this year is 600, and we're at 200 right here. That's what I'm at right now, is at 200, but I'm super, super happy with it. So 600 is my goal. So that's how I set up my savings goals. If you're interested in more, let me know. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video.